Hello, peace everybody. Hope everybody's being blessed. I have a video to make about a subscriber had asked me 3 questions. Christoph Albert. I hope I'm saying your name right. Christoph, this video is for you and anybody else who might be interested. He asked me 3 questions. Number one, why Vietnam? Why did I come to Vietnam? Why did I choose this country, I guess is what the question is. Number two, why did I stay in Vietnam? What led me to come and live in Vietnam? Number three, why did I decide to get married and start a family at my age? Which I think my age is irrelevant, but I'm 52 years old. I'm not ancient. I'm getting old. I'm old for having kids, yes. But so anyway, I'll answer those 3 questions as quickly as I can. Number one, why did I come to Vietnam? To begin with, I worked for the Boeing company in 2008 to 2012 in Portland, Oregon, and actually a suburb of Portland, Oregon, Gresham, Oregon. I worked in their machine shop and I was a team leader. And I had 26 Vietnamese guys working on my team and maybe 4 Americans, but all were Vietnamese other than the 4 Americans. And they would have problems with machines or problems with parts, and they would all speak in Vietnamese. And I was kind of tired of being left out of the loop, and I couldn't get them to speak English. So I ended up taking a Rosetta Stone course to learn the language. And I learned the basics of the language, but the language is really hard. It's very hard. So I learned a little bit of the basics, but I guess they were kind of impressed by that, and they started inviting me out to Vietnamese restaurants and Vietnamese bars and all the places that they congregated. And I started getting into the traditions and the culture, and they would explain things to me, and I was really intrigued by it. And I had always wanted to travel out of America. I've been to 48 states, and the only ones I haven't been to are North Dakota and Alaska, which I really want to go to Alaska. North Dakota, I don't care much about, but I'd like to go there just to say that I've been to every state. But I've always been a traveler at heart, and so I always wanted to travel out of the country, but they always told me, you need to go to Vietnam, you need to go to Vietnam, you need to see it, you need to experience the culture and the traditions. And they introduced me to some people, friends and family on Facebook, and I started talking to some of them. And one guy in particular, Mr. Viet, he was a university student for tourism and English, and he would ask me questions, and I kind of tutored him through university, and we got to be really good friends on Facebook. And he kept saying, you need to come over, you need to come over. And he graduated from university and opened a tourism business, Street Food Man, streetfoodman.com. You can look him up. He's a very respected tour guide and tour service over here. And he kept saying, you need to come over. Well, I just never had the opportunity. Well, then in 2012, my employment ended at Boeing, and I was recently ended a marriage of almost 20 years, and I had nothing to do and had some money in the bank, and I decided I'm going to come to Vietnam. So I came to Vietnam for a month, and I met up with Mr. Viet, and he gave me tours of the city and street food tours, and toured me around Vietnam. We traveled together all around Vietnam, and it was such a beautiful country, just amazingly beautiful. And which leads me to the second question, why did I stay in Vietnam? Well, I didn't just come over and stay in Vietnam. I came over from 2013. I came over every year, and I stayed for a month, and then a month and a month, and then it ended up being 3 months, and it was a slow process. But I fell in love with the cities in Vietnam are just intense. They're just electrifying. That's the word I always come up with is electric. they're just really intense, and really everything's fast paced, and it's just go go go. And seeing the resourcefulness of the Vietnamese people and the way the Vietnamese people treated me, they treated me like family, like I came back from somewhere, and I was taken in like family, and they fed me and took care of me. And I just really, over time, just kept getting more and more immersed in the culture and the traditions. So I didn't just come over here and stay. I had some friends that Mr. Viet had introduced me to in the beginning, and they were Vietnamese English teachers, and I just so happened to have a degree in early childhood education. So they kept telling me, you need to come over and stay in Vietnam, and you need to come over and teach English. And I was just like, no, I'm not interested in giving up everything in America and come over to Vietnam to be a teacher for a company. And after a while, I mentioned to Mr. Viet, I said, why do I come over and be an English teacher for a company? Why don't we pull together and open our own English center? And that's basically kind of what we did. We all chipped in money, and now I'm just a salaried teacher there, but I am my own boss, and I don't have a boss. I do as I please. And so that's why I ended up staying in Vietnam. I fell in love with the kids. I fell in love with the people, the culture, the traditions, and I really fell in love with the kids. I come from a family where my parents were foster parents, and they always had infants to toddlers to even older kids that would come over and stay until my mom ran a daycare at the same time, and they would come over and stay until their parents got off work. And there was just always a ton of kids in our house and babies, and I got that love for kids from my parents, I truly believe, and just the way I grew up and what my surroundings were. So I fell in love with the kids, and I didn't want to leave, and I ended up staying in Vietnam. So the third question is, why did I decide to get married and start a family at my age? Well, I can't say anything other than I fell in love. I met my wife. She was working at the Honda dealership, and I had a Honda. And so I would take my Honda in and have it worked on so I could start up a conversation with her. And we hit it off right off the bat. And I just truly believe she's my soulmate. I knew pretty much right away, and I think she knew too. And she was just my soulmate, and she's a lot younger than me, so she's at the age she can have babies. And she mentioned to me about having a baby, and she said she wanted a baby by me because she loved me. And I've never had a child of my own, and this is my late lease in life, my opportunity to have a child of my own. So I obliged. I just said, yes, let's do it. And so anyway, so that's, yeah, I can't how can you explain love? I mean, it just happens at the time that you don't think. I thought that I was going to live my life single and solo, traveling around the world, and that's what I was doing at the time. I was traveling, and I decided to give it up and settle down. So anyway, that's the answer to your 3 questions. I hope this was helpful to you in some way, but at any rate, that's all I have for you today. Over and out.